Disclaimer, my camera moves throughout the video because it's on a very unstable mount, so just thought I'd let you know in case anyone has motion sickness and that would stress them out. So hi, it's my first video. So we're just moving my Yeosang collection, really. I've kind of just had it in this binder since I got it, and since I started collecting him, and I just don't enjoy keeping his cards in here anymore. So we're gonna be moving them to an A4, which I have here next to me. So first I think we're just gonna move his cards out of here. So I just have them in chronological order. Actually, we'll go from front to back so they stay in chronological order. Also, along with Yeosang, I'm going to be moving my TXT cards and the rest of my ATEEZ cards into there, just because this binder is horrific. The pages are really bad. The binder itself isn't, but the pages are really bad, and I don't want to keep them in here. Ignore that glare. I literally cannot prevent it. So if I move this over here, I can't move my phone over there to match it because my phone is currently stuck in a wire hole. But yeah, so I'm keeping TXT with ATEEZ too. The selfie stick is like right there. You can see the shadows. I'm gonna move this down just while I'm getting these out. I don't know how I did this setup, because I tested this yesterday just to make sure that it would work, and it's like not working the same as it did yesterday, and it's really strange. I think I might have had it one lower yesterday. I don't know for sure. But my collection isn't very big, and it's not too extensive. If I get some pobs of him, I'll keep them, and sometimes I'll buy pobs of him. But I don't want every single card he has. Like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, as you can tell, I am Yeosang biased, if it wasn't already obvious. You'll be able to tell from my collection, but I'm not going to be collecting the other members for album cards or pobs, really, just because financially I can't, because I'm a college student. Well, I'm a sixth form student, but I call it college so that it's easier to handle for people, because sixth form's a British thing and some people might not know what it is. But basically, a UK education system, high school ends at 16, but education is mandatory up until the age of 18. So you have to have a place of education between 16 and 18, which could be a college, it could be a sixth form, it could be an apprenticeship, or T-levels, which is A-levels at sixth form, whilst also having an apprenticeship, or it could just be those are all the options. So you can't have like a free year. I did try and do that, but it didn't turn out that way because it's mandatory and it would be illegal for me to work for a year this year, because I'm turning 17 next month. So and I'm currently at sixth form. My high school that I went to has a sixth form program, so I'm going there because I only live a few minutes away from it. So yeah. So I have fillers for Yeosang, but like, yeah, I have fillers for Yeosang. I don't know why there would be a but. because I have all these cards, but they're so spread out, and there's obviously nothing for Outlaw between these and these, so it will be really hard because I want them to be in their setup already. I'm not just going to shove them together until I have everything. Also, if these aren't in order, ignore it because I have like a page set out, so like what cards would go well together, what cards wouldn't go well together, and they'd put them together so that they fit. They're not like all era mixed, like all the Outlaw cards are together, all the movement cards are together, all the Fever cards are together, and all the treasure cards are on one page. But yeah. So, as I said, financially, collecting OT8 will be hard because I am a student. I'm in the process of getting a proper job, but at the same time, it's quite hard for me because it's really hard to get a job at 16 here because it just is. I don't really know what to say about it. And so I have some stories to tell from the last couple of days specifically. But I loved Golden Hour, and I have, obviously, as you saw, 2 digipacks for it. I have Yeosang's and Yeosang's. They were gifts from my mom's friend. So I loved Golden Hour, and I loved their box albums. So I was like, I want those box albums. Sorry, this is really hard to navigate. I want those box albums, like, badly. So I go on eBay, and one of my favorite sellers put the Golden Hour albums up separately for £6 each, with no photo cards in them, but they had like everything else. And £6 is roughly 7 USD, so it's quite cheap. And then I saw that she had put a picture of all 3 versions on her page for £18, which is like 20 USD. So I was like, oh my god, that's all of them for 18, and if I buy all of them, then I'll have all of them. So I favorite it so I can see if I have enough money for it later, and then she discounts it to £14, and I'm like, get that on my doorstep immediately. So I buy it, and delivery time, like, I speak to her and she's like, oh, what color do you want, and who's your bias? Number 1, red flag. She asked me what color I want. I was really confused, but I just ignored it. I said, any color, I don't mind. And my bias is Yeosang. And she said, oh my god, I'm so happy that your bias is Yeosang, because no one ever buys Yeosang. Side note, before we move on, I fucking despise UK ATEEZ, because let me just give you another anecdote from a few months ago, right? Actually, yes, a few months ago. So, I was doing a college open day, and I met one of my friends from high school there who I didn't know was going, and me and her, we don't want to go home just yet after this is finished, so we're like, ooh, let's walk around town for a bit, because we live like a metro's way from town, and we couldn't really be bothered to go home yet because it was a way home. So we were like, hey, let's mooch around a little bit, let's see what's happening. And we went to HMV, which is, if you don't know, like K-pop central for anyone who lives in the north of England, because all K-pop shops are like Midlands and South England, and I live like up north, like literally I'm pretty sure a half-hour's drive from like the border to Scotland. So I live up there. I live in Newcastle, like up north. So I don't have access to anything but HMV. That has not stopped me, you know. So I'm in HMV with her, and we're looking around, and obviously there's a K-pop section, so I'm like, oh, let's go over there after you're done with your vinyls upstairs. We go down, And I look, and obviously HMV doesn't sell normal albums for ATEEZ, for Will and Golden Hour. They just sell the digipack versions, and that's where I obviously got those gifts from. But we look, and I see 8 piles of Golden Hour albums. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So I go from top to bottom, and there's a pile of Hongjung, there's a pile of Songhwa, there's a pile of Wooyoung, there's a pile of Jongho, there's even a San pile, which quite surprised me because San's quite popular here. And there wasn't a Mingi pile, and there was a Yeosang pile. 2 Yeosang piles. Now, you look at each of the piles, and like every single member, their pile is like 2 or 3 albums big. It's quite small. And then you get to Yeosang's 2 piles. They are full to the rack. Like 2 full piles of just Yeosang albums, no Mingi albums, and scarce numbers for everyone else. When I tell you, I almost ran up to an HMV employee and punched them in the face. I know it's not their fault. Doesn't mean I'm very happy about it, you know? I'm still not pleased. So I got really angry. And I'm like, I go to my friend, I'm like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? And she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, there's no Yeosang. Well, you know what I mean. There's so much Yeosang, and there's no Mingi, and there's barely any of anyone else, because no one's here is buying Yeosang. And I was absolutely, let me tell you, fuming. So that's a little anecdote of when I went to HMV and they had so much Yeosang that I could have filled my entire room with Yeosang. I was prepared to buy every single one. Unfortunately, my wallet didn't agree with me. So back to the eBay story after this anecdote of how much I hate UK, specifically Northern ATEEZ, who are a metro's way from Newcastle. She's so happy that I picked Yeosang, and I'm like, yes, I know. And she's like, I put a little gift in for you. I was like, excuse me? Thank you so much. So obviously delivery time comes, the album's here, I open it, I'm so excited, but obviously disappointed because there's only 1 album. And I'm like, oh, you know? So I obviously open it, and I thought that what she meant by picking my member was that I would get like a Yeosang postcard. I didn't get a Yeosang postcard. I actually got a Yuno postcard, but that is not a problem. I love my Yuno. He's on my wall behind me right now. He's next to my World poster, my Will poster, another Yeosang postcard, and then a bunch of pictures of the members, but they're double-sided, so I couldn't have all of them up, and I am devastated. Yeah, so that happened. Not happy. And then obviously get the album, but I only get 1, and I am fuming. But instead of texting her, because I love her, she's such a nice eBay seller, and I've bought multiple Yeosang cards from her before. I just love her, right? She's really nice, and she gave me one of the postcards that I actually have up. Anyway, so instead of getting angry about it and being like, hey, I paid for 3, where's my other 2? I just buy the other 2. So I don't really mind about it because they were quite cheap for non-photo card albums anyway. Like, I thought that was horrifically low because photo cards don't actually have that much value for an album to go from like £20 down to £6 just because the photo cards aren't in it. But she also gave me, her little gift to me was a little Yeosang Will Polaroid, and you saw it earlier. It's a dupe. And I didn't have obviously the heart to tell her that because she'd already given me it, so I was like, I didn't even tell her about that. But that card, I'm just gonna give it to my friend because my friend doesn't have it, and I thought it would be nice to give it to her. And she knows about that, so she knows that when I see her for the concert, then I'll give it to her then. So, and then she also gave me a Yeosang Golden Hour poker card, which you would have also seen earlier. And I was like, oh my god. And I was literally like giggling to myself. I was like, oh my god, she's so nice. And then I bought the other two. And then she was like, oh my god, you're buying more? Are you opening a shop or something? And I was like, oh no, I just love ATEEZ. And then she said, well, what colors, what versions do you already have? And I was like, just the white one. She said, oh, did you know that they re-released it? I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, oh, they released that new one. I was like, oh, you mean the Work Live version? And I told her that it was just a re-release of the album, but it included all of the Work remixes. Also, if you fucking buy that, you're an enemy to me, because why the hell would you willingly have a CD containing those remixes in your home? Why would you ever think of it? I thought we were all going to pretend those remixes didn't happen. And now you're going to be buying it and owning it. And because it features people on those remixes, they're probably going to get some money from it. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. So I told her, I was like, oh, it's just the Work album, but it features the Work remixes that they added. And I didn't tell her they were horrible because I didn't want to be like mean, and I didn't want to cause a controversy with her in case she didn't want me to say things like that about ATEEZ. I'm not saying it about ATEEZ, I'm saying about the people they collabed with. So I tell her that, but then I said, I don't know if it falls under the category of an album or if it falls under the category of merch. And she was like, oh, I get it now. And then she said, well, thanks for helping me. I'll give you a little gift for that too. I was like, oh, I love you. Marry me. No. But then after that, she asked me what my thoughts on Mingy were. I was like, what are my thoughts on Mingy? I love Mingy. He's so fucking adorable. His little food songs get me giggling and kicking my feet every single fucking time I listen to them. Every single time he comes on screen, I just giggle to myself and I like kick my feet a little bit, and then I'm like, stop. Stop. You're an adult in 2 years. Stop it now. Well, technically 1 and a bit, but like, stop it. So I was like, oh my god, I love Mingy so much. And she was like, okay, well, I've got a little gift for you. It's in the top of the Blue album. I was like, is it now? And then she sent me a little teaser image. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I immediately knew what it was. It was just a little bit of orange that I could see. And I was like, I know a Mingy Will Diary version postcard when I see it. Obviously didn't tell her that. Wanted to leave the element of surprise. But I have a feeling that's what it is. Now, getting to, it was due to be delivered from like this Saturday to like this Wednesday. So you won't know what I mean by that, but today is Tuesday. So it comes on Saturday, but I'm out at the vet with my mom. Sorry, I just knocked the fucking phone. I'm at the vet with my mom for my dog because she had a nasty ear infection. So we're going there for that. And then I get home and I get a little thing from Royal Mail that's like, hey, we tried to deliver this, but you weren't here, so we're going to re-deliver it on Monday. I was like, number one, I wasn't here, and now I have to wait to get my albums, and I am fuming. Number two, both of my parents are at work, my brother is at school, and I am at school on those days. So I check, and it's like you can like schedule a redelivery. So I tried that, and on my school schedule, right, we have specifically mine, I have first period lesson, like whatever the fuck it's called, in a lesson, like media studies, and then I have, I did it again. Fuck, I got this the wrong way around because I already have one of these. So I scheduled the redelivery for Wednesday because I'm like, hey, I have Wednesday off because I'm only in for lesson 1, but I have to stay there until after lesson 2. So I'm like, hey, I can go home and I'll be home all day. One thing I didn't realize was that we have enrichment on Wednesday, which is this thing which covers lesson 4 and 5. And it's like this thing where you get to learn an extra skill, which is supposed to make you stick out from everyone else after you leave sixth form and you try and get a job and stuff. And there's things like peer tutoring, there's like different music certificates, there's like oil painting, there's British Sign Language, all that kind of jazz. So we have to do that, lesson 4 and 5, and I realized that right after I got the reschedule. I was like, damn it, I am fuming. So I then did it again to schedule another redelivery, which I'm sure they wouldn't mind. You know, I don't actually ever have to engage with them, so it's okay. So I scheduled another redelivery for Friday because both of my parents are off work on Friday. I'm at school all day Friday. My brother's at school all day Friday, but that is perfectly fine with me. Okay, done with fillers. Now we're just going to put cards away. So then I figure, well, why didn't they just leave it behind, like the bin next to my house, like they do for my dad's stuff? And then I realized, well, that's because that's classed as a safe place and you have to set that. And I was like, oh, so I went on the app, set the safe place to behind the bin in front of my house. And then I rescheduled the delivery again for, I rescheduled it again for Wednesday because that was the earliest day that they could deliver it to me. So I was like, hey, bring it here on Wednesday. And yeah, so that's the current update. That Wednesday is tomorrow, and I'm really excited because that means I get my albums tomorrow. And then there's 2 cards that I want to yap about. One card was supposed to arrive last week, and it didn't. And I sent a request in saying, hey, this didn't arrive. And the seller's like, oh, I just sent it out a couple days late and I don't know why it's taking so long. The card I'm talking about is this one, by the way. It came today. And this appeal that I made about it not arriving was yesterday. So I think I just have really good manifestation luck because cards always come quicker when I'm aware that they're coming. Because that one I kind of forgot about it. So it didn't come for a while. Anyway. So I get that card today, but yesterday there was another card that I was worried about because it said that I had paid for it, but the seller hadn't dispatched it yet. I was like, excuse me, while I'm on the topic of, you know, like while I was in the zone of checking all my eBay stuff, I checked some other cards and there was one that hadn't even been sent out yet. I was like, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? No, I was like, hey, when do you think you can get this sent out? Sorry, I moved this down a little bit just so I could get the cards in the top in. And they said, oh, I sent it yesterday. I just forgot to label it as dispatched. I was like, oh, wonderful. And then they obviously marked it as dispatched today. And that card is due to arrive, which is not this one. It's a different one, which is due to arrive tomorrow. So I have 2 albums and a photo card coming tomorrow, and I am absolutely ecstatic about it. I've been waiting for these albums for it feels like fucking forever. eBay's trying to get me to leave a review on it, and I'm like, I don't even have them yet. Like, calm your fucking tits. I have this card coming tomorrow. It's the Digipack card. I've been looking for it forever, and I could not find like it for a decent price, and I don't know why. It's an album card, but I couldn't find it, and then I found it for £3.50. I was like, get in! So that's why I was really worried when they were like paid but not dispatched yet, because I bought it like a week ago. So yeah, that's due to come tomorrow, as well as my albums, and I'm having the time of my life. I have, excluding these 2 cards, 10 more cards coming. I have 2 more will cards, which is going to almost finish it up. It's going to be this one and then the platform for PC. So the only thing I'm missing will be the Polaroid. That's the only thing that'll be missing. Now we have to put these pobs in a page together. I think I'm just gonna put I'm gonna count how many I have. So that's 4. That's 3. That's kind of like an album card. Then these 4 and these 4, I want to put them on an 8 page together maybe. And then obviously these are just the same cards, different person. I do not know what I'm going to do with these two. I'm going to be real. So these 2 are 2 pages worth. So I'll put them over there. How much is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, perfect. So this one I'm going to put, who do I want to put on the middle bit? Well, they're all going to be in a 3 together. This will probably go, because it's an 8 page, it can't go in the middle, but it could go here or there, depending on where they go. Because it's a Polaroid and I don't really want it to go in the corner. These kind of have the same hair color, and then these have different hair colors. Maybe I put them there. And this here. This one comes first between these two, so I like that. And then just like that. Because he has his hair down in both of them, and he has his hair parted in both of them. Okay, I'll do that. I think that's all my stories. Oh, there's a girl in my physics class. Yes, I did pick physics as an A-level. No, I do not regret it. I love physics. I'm regretting media studies and textiles though, because I did textiles last year and I was not enjoying it. But I met a girl in my physics class who she likes K-pop, and I was like, and because I was listening to ATEEZ and I was lip syncing it and I was dancing a little bit because it was Crazy Form, and I know that choreography like the back of my fucking hand. So I was jigging, and then my friend was like, "What are you fucking dancing to?" I was like, "ATEEZ." No, I showed her and she was like, ATEEZ, I don't know what that is. And then the other girl went, "Wait, what was that?" So I showed her and she was like, "Oh, ATEEZ." I was like, "I love ATEEZ. I'm seeing them on tour in January." But I wasn't really talking to her. I was more talking to like the air when I said that, because we were going into our classroom. But then today, we had like a bunch of like, because obviously when you move from high school to sixth form, but you're in the same school, you're obviously with a bunch of people that you used to go to high school with, because they stayed as well. And there's like people that you had drama with who's still there. I do as well. And there were these 2 pricks who were in the same room as me, which was really getting on my nerves. But anyway, so I was talking about them, and then because they were making fun of me for liking K-pop, because I don't know, I just had the confidence to tell the other 2 bad people that. So I was complaining about it to my friend, and this girl was there, and she was like, "Oh, what K-pop groups do you like?" I was like, "Oh, I really like ATEEZ, I really like All Hours, I like Stray Kids as well, and I like In Hyphen, but their recent comeback I don't really like." And she was like, "Oh, I like Stray Kids, and I also like New Jeans." I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And then end of story. Literally end of story. I told her I had a photo card collection. She was like, "Oh, I wish I could have one of those." I was like, "Yes, you can one day, you know." So these 2 cards, I have a Huninkai, which is the same concept as this, right? And this Huninkai is quite important to me because my best friend Marilyn has the same card, so we're like twins. And these 2 pages are the same concepts. They're just the same but with different people. So I think I'm gonna put Huninkai here because he has priority, and then Yeonjun here. Then when I get Huninkai out of his top loader, because he's currently on display on my shelf, I'll put him here for storage. And then obviously this one doesn't match at all, much like the rest of this page, so I can put this here. I mean, I would put that in the middle of the will page, but then that would have 2 TXT cards there, and that would be odd. So that's it, I guess. I don't think I'll end up doing lots of haul videos because I'm the kind of person where as soon as I get a card, like, I put it away. Like, literally the card I got that day, I didn't even unwrap it, like, didn't film anything. I just opened it up, sleeved it, put it in my binder, and then I was done. And I don't really like keeping cards out of my binder, so hauls aren't something I'd probably do. I mean, I might when I have lots of cards coming at once. Like, I have some cards coming early October, but I have some coming in the next week or so. So I'll probably do a haul when they arrive because there's about 7 of them. So I'll need to figure out how to set stuff up so that they're in the right place and things like that. So I'll probably end up doing that on camera. So that's it. I love Yeosang. There we go.